you, Aina. Okay, thanks for the brief introductions about the session 5 today with the topics of blockchain ecosystem and the journey of our own initiative, Blockchain Village at Medini, or in short, BVAM. Find out more from our amazing panelists today from their own stories and perspectives under this BVAM and learn how you can get the ground floor today, on the ground floor today. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being us. Thank you for being with us, and I'm glad to welcome our panelists here. I'm going to give a very brief introduction about them. Some of them already participated yesterday in day 1, so I'm just going to give a brief introduction about them. Our first panelist, Nurlisa Francis Nordin. She is the CEO of IntelliWare Solutions Sdn Bhd, an affiliate company of OK Blockchain Center Sdn Bhd, the member of OK Wave Japan group of companies. IntelliWare Solutions serve full spectrum digitalization services that include web-based, mobile-based application, and customized system. Our second panelist, Chuck Lee Meng. He is the CEO and founder of Sense Singapore and Malaysia, the company that focuses on digital technology and platform. Chuck has 3 decades of experience in the technology industry across US, Europe, and Asia Pac. Recently, Chuck managing and operating one of the largest fintech platform and IT infrastructure in China, transacting about renminbi 35 billion yearly. That is Chuck. The next panelist, Dr. Afnizan Faisal Abdullah, or in short, we call him Dr. Af. He is the CEO and also the founder for Synapse Innovations Sdn Bhd. For information, Synapse is one of the companies we announced joining our BVAM family yesterday. Synapse was incorporated in 2019 that aims to lead artificial intelligence technology development in Malaysia. Dr. Af's responsibilities include strategizing the development of research in big data analytics and data science for public services, industries, and economy. Our last panelist, our number 4 panelist, TS Dr. Muhammad Iskandar Ilyas Tan, the CEO and founder of Holistic Labs Sdn Bhd. Holistic Lab is another company that just joined our BVAM family. We announced yesterday together with Synapse Sdn Bhd. Holistic Lab is a UTM spin-off company to focus on the aspect of commercialization of halal technology. Holistic Lab is a certified training provider for JKIM Halal Professional Board training programs. Those are briefly about our 4 panelists. I'm going to welcome them again and thank you to all the audience for being with us today. Okay, this is what I'm going to do today. The first part of our session, we will listen to our panelists based on their stories and perspective, based on the seniority of the companies within BVAM family. I'm going to start with Lisa, the Kat Long, or the firstborn of our BVAM family. Lisa, according to an essential study in 2017, more than 97% of major companies believe that future business models will be created within the ecosystem. But only a small minority sees their company culture ready for collaboration in a more or less open space. What do you think about this? Over to you, Lisa.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for a very cordial introduction of myself, being the Kat Long. Sounds weird though.
Our firstborn, our firstborn, yes.
Indeed, I'm Kat Long lah to begin with. But anyway, coming back on that, on the readiness or the collaboration or the willingness, how much we are going to embrace this blockchain as a new business model. My input is, of course, as was being introduced, originally when I came into the picture on the landscape of blockchain, I was practically new, just like anyone else. But now that I'm more involved, that I have to lead an organization on my own, that means I have to, the door is even more wider. So having said that, it's a surprising fact actually. To me, the readiness is there. That is my number one input. While many are still talking about we are not ready, and my latest discovery is that, like, wow, so many people are actually ready. The main obstacle here is really money. Why? Blockchain must stay very expensive. All right, that's number one. So while they are very excited to adopt this technology into their existing processes, be it on agri-tech, be it on edu-tech, health tech, even on the supply chain finance, trade finance, everything. Namely finance, they are people with money, but still to invest in this particular technology, they need to see first how it works and how it can give value. I think on the value part, they already see it. There's a lot of reading, definitely frameworks and so on. But again, the hesitation to initiate or to seed the first capital to get it really executed is the main obstacle right now. I think by these few days, I have the opportunity to communicate to a few agencies. While some of them are actually holding or being given the mandate to facilitate the startups or the ecosystem, but the person in charge themselves need to have more understanding, in which this comes from our side. The ones in practice, we have to give the understanding of this particular technology. You have to, at the beginning, give that seed. Otherwise, it will not be able to move. But again, coming back to the question, readiness is there. Idea is there. Framework is there. Everything is there. Just need on the execution part. Today, I was being actually just minutes before this meeting, I had a different level of discussion on how we are not doing well yet as a Malaysia in the World Trade Organization report. On the supply chain finance and also trade finance, no company yet at the POC level. Truth is, are we so bad? No, we are good, but not many people are there to invest money just yet. I guess this one really falls on the I wouldn't say exactly on the government side. I don't like to do that. I don't like to put it in that manner, but it's everybody's duty. And yeah, that's all from my side.
Okay, so if I could extract some of the points you mentioned just now, that money is obstacle, especially the small size or startup size of the company, but the value that need to be sold and need to be understood by the user of the blockchain technology is important for them to see the value behind the costs of the expensive of this technology, right?
Yeah, the value is no issue by now. Really, that part we have to be happy because many have seen the value. They're just not the financial part is not really on the startup. It's really on the project. To start the project is money. That is where the hesitation comes in.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Quickly back to our BVAM, where we launched in 2019. We are almost 2 years, yeah? By mid of this month, we will be celebrating our 2 years old. BVAM was launched with the aim to develop the blockchain ecosystem in Medini City, to provide service providers, established institutions, and blockchain startups and stakeholders, yeah, the platform to further develop their technology and encourage market adoptions. Chuck, I want to ask you, how do you think this is important and beneficial for companies establishing their footing in a certain location, like our location in Iskandar Puteri?
Yes, Selena, thank you for the question. It's actually a privilege that we are in Medini. One of the reasons that we actually look into our next venture and startup in blockchain. 2 years ago, when I get back from China, we actually evaluate a number of things, right? Location, surrounding, the ecosystem and so forth. I think first of all, I mean, I was fortunate also, we do have also ongoing business in Malaysia, which I guess, you know, this is also an anchor point where I guess, you know, why we picked Medini as a first play. So first of all, I think we picked that, you know, the reason on that is that we also want to do digitization of our current project site, you know, in Johor itself. So naturally, Medini is a good fit, you know, and then of course with the BVM initiative. So basically, it's you know, it really gel very well, you know, into what we want to do, right? It's really in the area what we call offline and online digitization of our asset, right? So in a short, you know, we call the tokenization of asset. So that really blend well with us, looking into the virtual and also looking into, you know, what we call a physical, right? We create a whole entire, you know, we call a digital asset ecosystem around, you know, the real asset. Okay, so that's the first thing we look into, is really our project site where we are as a base to start off. And second thing is like, as we look into Medini itself, it's really fortunate you have a lot of the higher education institutions surrounds it, whether being in EduCity, you know, UTM and so forth and so forth. So that actually bring along a lot of talents that we can tap on, all right? Being to Beijing for 5 years, to give example why the area that we are so advanced in terms of like, you know, technology innovation, because where I seated in Beijing, so there's 2 big universities that, you know, is surrounded. So actually there's steady supply of talents, and also the MANEC actually pulling talent from some other places. So that is one area, I guess, you know, the talent attraction is bringing us into Medini itself, right? And thirdly, I mean, Bina is based in Singapore right now, so there is also this area where, you know, Lisa have touched on, is the funding part. So Singapore being a financial hub, okay, so there is a lot of resources we could tap on, right? And being so near, right, where I guess, you know, there is another way to look into, and then the dimension that, you know, the financial resources, and also potentially there are a lot of other opportunity actually tap on to actually go into the Singapore market itself. And you probably know that, you know, there's a lot of this digitization project in Singapore that is happening. Pretty much that we can pick on the channel. There's also another way to expand, you know, beside the financial resources. Finally, I guess it's very important is actually, you know, Medini is a new township. Okay, there's no legacy, you know, you can build on a blank sheet of paper, right? You can actually chart where we're going to go. I think this is what we've seen, all right? So that will facilitate a lot of room for innovation and R&D and so forth. This is really one of the areas I guess I like the most, right? So back to you, this Serena.
Yeah, I like the last part especially, because most of the time when you have a conversation about the new area, the new locations, people will start bringing the issues of the amenities, the readiness of the area. But I like the part because you look at it in different perspective, because this is where the location that it doesn't have the legacy, you know, the something that you can chart and plan together to grow and develop the area. Yeah, and you also mentioned that the other 2 factors influence your decision to be with us in Iskandar Puteri is on the business opportunities, or in this case, is your project near to the location itself, and of course the talent that you mentioned, being surrounded by our sister company, the EduCity campus, with various universities, local and internationally, and also some public and private universities outside EduCity area as well.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, Chad, for that very interesting point. Okay, Dr. Af, you know that in 2021, Johor Menteri Besar YAB Datuk Hasni Mohamad, in his budget, 2021 budget speech, did mention that Johor needs an integrated ecosystem to enable the state to further develop the digital economy sector, especially for the Southeast Asia region, and further proclaim Medini city as the state's digital hub, right? Dr. Af, what do you think about this? How do you think this could further accelerate and attract tech companies to set up in our location in Iskandar Puteri?
Okay, thank you, Madam Salina, for the generous introductions and the questions. So, okay, this is based on my experience developing Synapse Innovations back then in 2019, and eventually become part of Iskandar Investments just recently. So along the way, we have participated in a few accelerator programs. Some of them are good, some of them really good, and some of them are not. So based on your questions, how the environments or the ecosystem of Medini able to attract more tech company to jump into JDAT, for example, or any programs that have been run by IIPD. In my best opinions here, is one of the things is the opportunity. So the opportunity must be clear to show that the startups, the tech startups that want to participate in programs in Medini, able to get some values from tapping into the getting some value by tapping to the networking that Iskandar could able to provide. So we believe that in Johor, for example, why Johor is so vibrant in the talent development, because we are really close in Singapore, and we are not different in time difference, but we are really huge difference in the currency. So so maybe we can take into the advantages on that. From here, that means that Johor is really good in developing talents, because even we compare dengan KL pun, we can see that developing talents in Johor is way better compared to KL due to some costing, and as well as how we able to retain them and whatnot. This is one thing that I would like to share here. We are participating in MyStep program regulated by Iskandar Investments, and we really appreciate that opportunity, because we able to develop talents with the help of Iskandar. And this is, I guess, living proof from the point that I'm raising up here. And we are not only able to take up the challenge to develop the talent, but also we able to channel this talent into the better opportunity later on. And this is the essence of hub, if we can say about hub. So if Medini want to become, the visions of Medini will become one that able to build up this kind of ecosystems, acting like the roles as the hub is really important. And I guess this is one example that we can start with, a very simple one, doables, achievables, and also this giving a lot of opportunity to startups and as well as the new generation of talents. And besides that is another opportunity, for example, universities. I believe that EduCity have quite a number of universities, not to mention public universities around Medini, for example, UTM and UITM, not to mention. I mean, this is something that able to attract investments from outside of Malaysia to invest to Johor or to Medini in specific. And this is how we able to grow Medini in the future. I believe that not only blockchain, but other technology that I guess fall under digital transformations. So I guess that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Af. So I think we are doing the right thing with our JDAC and MyStep programs. Many companies enjoying that, and talent is the key under the ecosystem of any technologies. And I want to also highlight again what Lisa mentioned about the needs on the funding to fund the project, to kickstart the project. So I think this is something that, moving forward, maybe we will put in our main focus area as well, bringing funders, bringing investors or VCs, to basically help the companies under BREM. And I like the part that you mentioned earlier when you first started about Singapore, maturity of Singapore startup companies. and perhaps something that we should be looking at how we should complement or collaborating with them, you know, the startup in Singapore, taking advantage of us being nearby to them, right? Okay, I wouldn't want to say the bongsu because we don't want him to be the last one. But he is the latest member of our BVAM family. Sorry, Dr. Iskandar, in terms of age, we have, you know, Lisa, I guess, is the youngest, yeah? Okay, Dr. Iskandar, I need your view on this, yeah? And also about this, what they call it, co-location concept. As you are aware that locally and globally, there is an exciting new location or new co-location concept spurring the innovation. Multi-sector innovation hubs that span and range of business models, ownership structures, and physical layouts. The goal is to create a motivating work environment where businesses can collaborate, develop new skills, and get inspired to reach to the next level. Please share your view on this, Dr. Iskandar. And which is the most crucial components in your opinion?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, for calling me the bongsu one. So somehow
we say the latest. We don't want you to be the bongsu because we want to have more players coming in. You are the latest edition.
You don't mind with that.
You pampered him very much, I guess.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
In terms of the concept of co-locations. All right. I think previously, Lisa already mentioned about the concept of financing. Chuck already mentioned about concept of collaborating, and also Af just now did mention about the concept of support. That we have. But in terms of the co-location, I think this is also very, very important. Because having the physical location, being set, to help startups, and also to spur the growth of technology. Specifically, when I talk about BVAM, that focus more on blockchain, I think this is very, very important because by having this kind of interaction physically, it can grow new connections. Include more collaborations and also ignite new ideas between one party with another party. But at the same time, we also not need to forget about the current situation that we have, COVID-19. Right? With the COVID-19 since for the past 2 years, we also need to adapt. By using various different kind of technology. Right? So previously, if we have the physical places, yes, we can do lots of things. But in terms of the current situation that we have, even though we are looking forward, to move from one place to another place, meeting people face to face and so on and so forth, we also need to embrace this various different kind of technology. For example, when I talk about this webinar, we are using Zoom, we are using WebEx, we are using various different kind of technology. So I think this should be combined together with the physical interactions, and also how to create, I can say that I think this has been discussed a lot in terms of hybrid hybrid environments. So yes, for some kind of activities, I'm looking forward to meet face to face, but at the same time, to cut costs, to speed up the process, I think we also need to have this virtual interactions. And besides that, I think again, thank you very much to IIBV to have us as part of the latest members within BVAM. We are very, very fortunate to get the support of the state government, or of IIBV, with the support of finance, the infrastructure. And to be honest, the thing is that we're going to move in Medini on the 1st of November. Really looking forward with that. And we are also one of the company that involved with the GDAT, the Johor Digital and Emerging Technology Talent, by having the support of My Steps. The thing is that I cannot really ask for more. We are very, very fortunate. We are very, very thankful. With all the support that we have. From the government of Malaysia. From you guys. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Dr. Iskandar, for the nice words on us. And as you are aware as well, that we have both the enterprise office location and also co-working environment in our location. Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna go to the second part where feel free to come in and share your opinion. I'm gonna read this statement I read somewhere. A blockchain ecosystem can be thought of as a network of participants with shared business processes and relationships that create and allocate business value. The individual participants may be different business models, different roles in the ecosystem, or even can be competitors. Chad, your opinion, your views about this, being competitors, different business model, different roles within the same ecosystem. What do you think about this?
All right, thanks for bringing out this topic. I think it's very important for us to look into what is this blockchain ecosystem about. I look into the angle because blockchain consists of few layers. So I would touch on the business layer a lot more. Because recently I also get into a venture, a joint venture or even an initiative go around what we call the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. That's an RCEP. All right, so I went actually joined a NGO to look into what is this ecosystem about, from a trade perspective, right? So this is really a big trade agreement linking among all the Asia Pacific state nation, right? Japan, China, and so forth, plus ASEAN. So all in all, it's a 15 country that form the largest trade bloc in history. So that's very important to look into that perspective. You have player in the participants, you have like provider, of services, you have the financial, you have the physical logistic, and all those are what we call a participant into the whole ecosystems. Okay, and it's very important that this is where I think first time in our history that we can see this kind of linking of so many parties together. All right, so I think blockchain as an infrastructure will be really perfectly fit into it. So this is where I start advocate where this is going to come in. Where blockchain will link the whole entire ecosystem together. Whether you are a collaborative partner, whether you are competitors, and so forth, it will be in the ecosystems. All right, it's a fair. It's actually a trusted ecosystem where we're going to facilitate share processes like trade facilitation, logistical coordination, all of our share processes. You can see that they are, working with each other, right, to complete an end-to-end trade. Then on the other hand, they also compete, compete in the sense that, yes, I want to get the business. That's where the business matching come about. So this is where I guess the competition come in, all right. But more importantly, I think that it's also, blockchain also provides something that Lisa just touched on, really on the financing part. I think this is where looking to supply chain financing, trade financing, which I guess, blockchains were able to actually digitize the asset within the trade ecosystem itself for you to actually going to be actually providing alternative financing in that area. Okay, so it's a big innovation that we can tap on one of those things that are happening right now. It's one of the big topics. Every country is talking about it within Asia Pacific and so forth. So basically, I think this is what we see really an ecosystem come into a place and where we could actually make use of what we have, in terms of blockchain and plug into it nicely. All right, back to you.
Okay, Lisa, your opinion about this? I mean, sounds like this big project on the global trade is a collaboration platform, right? Bringing all the players together, different process, different roles, but it's a collaboration platform. Lisa, your opinion about this? What do you think about?
I completely agree. Okay, let me just put the bigger picture first. Blockchain application is almost everywhere. But since we are focusing on the supply chain or the trade financing, since we are mentioning about WTO, I will just constrain the conversation on that domain. So on this particular domain alone, we have 6 segments, sub-segments that we have to tackle. That is on the trade finance itself, on the eKYC of it, all right, on the insurance itself, and then the digital, the DLT digitalization of the trade documents, all right? And then the logistics, and when talking about logistics, we are talking about sea, air, and also inland. And then we also have other initiatives on the marketplace. So you can imagine the magnitude of collaboration and how we can actually faster the process. So when you're talking about blockchain, people cannot see the value until they see how it can benefit them in two manner. Number one, money, right? If you can give money, that is value immediately. And another thing, if it can make the process simpler and faster. Blockchain by word doesn't mean anything. It's a back wire. So if you want to sell the value, it depends on who you're talking to. So but at the end of the day, it really complements on integrating the whole process. Similarly, I'm just going to focus on one very particular use case. Just a sneak peek at the same time lah. If you're talking about Islamic financing, or not to say Islamic, any sort of financing, let's say hire purchase, for example. We are talking about putting the process of financing on the on blockchain. At the same time, you can also tackle the issue of ownership of the car. That means we can integrate directly between the financial institution to the JPJ, for example. So there is no like double work, triple work. Those days it was so manual. Now a little bit digitalized. We have to be grateful on that, but it can be better. So that's my point. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Alf, you want to add to that?
Yeah, at this point, I agree with both Mr. Chak and also Lisa about that note. At this point, pretty much I totally agree. I have no comment on that. Thank you.
Okay, it's okay. Perhaps the next question, this is touch very much our own states in Johor, our own initiative, and also national as a whole. Moving forward, right? Medini under BVAM initiative, how do you guys think that we can take advantage or leverage on a National Industry 4.0 policy and framework that the TKSU Mosti mentioned in his speech yesterday to develop this industry further and helping the country in driving the digital transformation? Dr. Is, you want to start with your opinion on this?
Okay, all right. Thanks, Salina. All right. So if you try to recall back, about the concept of the National Industry 4.0 policy and also framework, what we understand, from the concept delivered by the government, they said that they want to cover in terms of financing, infrastructure, regulation, skills, and also technology. So if you try to look back at what are the efforts that we have currently in BVAM, in Johor, I think that we are on the right track. To support that policy and also try to embrace the framework that we have. So from GDAT, from my stats, from the Medini infrastructure, we already covered lots of things. We cover the financing part, we also have the infrastructure part, we also have the talent part. But at the same time, I think maybe what we need to have is an extra part whereby looking from the perspective of support system. So when I talk about support system is, for example, like, in terms of networking, right? So the rest of it, money coming from, grants, NTIS, and other different kind of grants. Looking at infrastructure, we have the buildings, in terms of talent, we have GDAT, MyStat, and so on and so forth. But in terms of the businesses that we currently try to run, we also need to have the connections, between, let's say, business to business, business to clients, or maybe investors. All right. So the support system on how we can connect all these different kind of parties. So that is one. At the same time, based on my previous experience, again, I'm very fortunate because I've been participate in various different kind of accelerator as well as incubator program. Back in 2017, I was with the Stanford, Magic E at Stanford program, whereby we stay in Silicon Valley for 2 weeks and visited various different kind of accelerator, Stanford University, and so on and so forth. One area that I really interested is that looking at this one startup accelerator, they call it as, I think, Plug and Play, located in California, whereby the structure that they have is when one company come in, they will be closely monitored in terms of progress. Okay, so they will come, okay, for 1 month, okay, they will try to monitor and also try to force them to grow, and after that they will grow to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And this connection is not only from the private company, okay, the private startup, but also with the startup coming from the university. So I think that is, okay, other extra thing that maybe we can just add inside, okay, BVM, okay, inside BVM, right? That's it from me.
Okay. Chuck, you want to add to this?
Yeah, sure.
I like the support, the plug and play, basically through the, if I could use this word, mentor coaching, right? Startup. Yes, Chuck, sorry, over to you.
No worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, you will look at that. For IR itself, it talk about a lot on the automation, all right, and also closely linking into the manufacturing sector, which I guess this is a sector where a lot of innovation and disruption could happen, all right? So this is where the 4IR framework come about, so many pillars of that. Now, blockchain being one of the key digital infrastructure, all right, it will actually plug into the pillar of 4IR, right, Industrial 4.0, right? Like basically it's like it creating the whole what we call value transfer. Basically it's like when party going to each other, this is the value to come in. So that is really just the glue itself is already blew into the key digital infrastructure. That's very important. Okay, so what does it mean, you know, really particularly into the manufacturing sector? Because I think the manufacturing sector is probably one of the largest in Malaysia, right? In that, I guess you look into this digitization of the traditional industrial processes, which I think today a lot of them are doing manually, or maybe they have a system to automate within the internal, you know, you have an ERP system and all those things. But when you come to cross-company, cross-border and so forth, so this is where I think the blockchain come in to do the linking, you know, the integration between that, okay? And second thing also, it really create what we call the industrial value chain. You know, this is where I guess it's like a lot of the things can be innovated, whether from a financial perspective, from the transaction perspective, or even from a collaboration perspective. This whole value, you know, should be, you know, part of the blockchain. I have to actually the liberty on the privilege because I actually did the 4IR project in China. We spent almost 2 years, you know, to digitize a factory. And then, of course, there's more internal automation. But one thing that we really want to leverage is using some of this technology like blockchain to externalize our process, to reach out to the supplier, you know, toward the buyer and so forth. So those are the things, I guess, you know, this is where the blockchain comes in, that provide you the value transfer, efficiency, collaboration between party, trustless and decentralized infrastructure. That is really the key thing where blockchain actually shine, because I think, you know, you wouldn't have a system can go down, you someone control it. So this is where I guess, you know, my point. Back to you, Selena.
Yeah, I think due to time that we don't really have much now, so I have to wrap up this, but I need the wrap up statement, 1 or 2 liners. It doesn't have to be too long, short and precise, you know, something that we BVM team can take back and move forward, especially for next year. What will be the crucial, based on your opinion, the crucial change and improvement that we, BVM team, need to reach? Perhaps to reach Cyberjaya, Bangalore, or Silicon Valley status in developing the blockchain industry in Medini. We start with Lisa. 1 or 2 liners on this.
1 or 2 liners is tough.
Yes, that's why short and precise, straightforward, so the team can put into their plan. Yeah.
Allow me a little bit. I do agree with Dr. East. Definitely, I was there in Silicon Valley for years when I started my journey back 2000, when I started working back in year 2000. So I must say, we must follow suit, whatever that is good over there. While we have a lot of accelerator program, maybe not yet in Medini, but we will have it right in the future, I guess, coming out from this particular event. Yes, the hand holding or the coaching throughout. Right now, I think the best that they are offering is just office hour. I think Magic is offering that, and so I guess that's one. But a hand holding, coaching, follow up is very important to ensure the startup ecosystem really success. So that's another thing. And then besides that, of course, my word again to everyone there, since I have the opportunity to say this to the academia, to the mothers, the parents, the people out there. Blockchain has humongous opportunity of career and business. Don't worry, because it covers even for agriculture, as I mentioned, edutech, health tech, because so everybody from every graduates, every school, you have job. And if you are so good in coding, be in coding, but we need the frontliners as well, because everybody has to be there. Just the coders, people know the syntax doesn't work. We need other people from different industry to come in, from different background to come in. That's my take. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Dr. Af, over to you. 1, 2 liners.
Just Lisa mentions lah. I need a novel or I need an essay for this. Okay. Anyway, let us put this into this context lah. Okay. One thing that I believe that Medini can improve in order for us to be at par of Silicon Valley or at least Cyberjaya is a part of the programs lah. We need to have a very, what I can say, just compared to Cyberjaya, is because that's the thing that I have experience with. The accelerator program is, the objective is to develop the tech ecosystems, which is including the startups lah. And saying that is pretty much on the content of the programs is all the matter. So what the startups needs right now is how to manage finance, how to manage, how to do fundraisings, how to develop branding. This is something that really dig in by these startups. If we can offer such a programs, I believe that the tech environment, tech ecosystem in Benini will be grow significantly. And not to mention, as I mentioned before, on the opportunity, Benini become the hub and become the bridge between the startups and the potential clients, perhaps. So I guess that's all.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Af. And Dr. Ace.
Okay, right. So as I mentioned before this, I did cover a bit about what are the things that maybe we can try to enhance. So based on my previous experience, I've been involved with Silicon Valley. The recently is with Korea Startup Grand Challenge. For 6 months. To be honest, what we've been doing in Medini, I think it's on the right track. On the right track. It covers in terms of finance, in terms of grants, in terms of infrastructure, talents, and so forth, so on and so forth. So as I mentioned earlier, we need to have that support system. But at the same time, with the realization of startup, the startup need to have the right kind of mentality. Right. So right kind of mentality. The thing is that just not only plan, talk. The thing is that we need to translate into just do it. Do not wait. So if you don't do it, we are not going anywhere, right? So I think the mentality and also what we should look forward, is very, very important for that.
Okay, thanks. And Chuck, your last 1, 2 liners.
Yeah, do agree with all the panelists, all the different points to actually improve where we are coming forward. I like to actually cite example because this is where I guess the experience and so forth, right? Instead of looking into what's Cyberjaya, Bangalore and Silicon Valley, why don't we pick one area that is going to recently is very successful? So I just picked Beijing. They focus on AI. I was in the wave. It took 5 years for them to become the AI hub, around the world. So that is amazing, all right? So what does it translate into? Timeline, resources, and also the goal, clearly defined, of course, with a lot of support from the various sector, whether it's the government, resources, or whether from the industry. So that is the part where I guess, we should actually have that clearly define what do we want to achieve rather than the following, so that you actually bring into next stage of your status. All right. And of course, lastly, the innovation coming that, in that sense that you should have some kind of like a blockchain sandbox within the Medini itself. so that this thing can actually facilitate, cut down a lot of the regulatory, and then a lot of innovation idea can actually step in. All right. So this is something that I just think that we should do. All right. And then I pass back to you, Selina.
Okay, thank you again, all the panelists. I wish we could stay longer. A lot of things that we can learn from all of you, from your own experience. Yeah. Once again, I would like to thank you, all the audience and my panelists here, and not to forget, obviously, the organizer. We hope to see you guys again in the near future. You enjoy the rest of the event and take care.